Hi players, bonjour from Paris, my name is Asaf and welcome to my channel Easy Board Games. Today, on my way of building my perfect collection of 100 games, no more, no less, we're saying goodbye to 3 games and we're going to say hello to 3 new ones. Then later on, we're going to have some updates, just as usual. So the first game that is leaving my collection, as you can see, is Glen More II Chronicles. And I know that you might raise some eyebrows over there, but I have to tell you that I didn't really click with this game. I know that it's a very loved game out there, but for me, I think that I got it because I was looking for like a farming theme kind of game. This is really, maybe I looked in the wrong place, I don't know, but this one didn't really answer that need. You know, I had this itch that Glen More didn't scratch. I don't know, I mean, the base game by itself felt like a little bit lacking, but then of course they added all the chronicles, which is something that I kind of appreciate in a game when you have this possibility to change the game, to alternate it to your needs or whatever that you find better in this game. Just something didn't click with me. And then you have the expansion that does add like a solo mode and some other things into it, but I found that if I didn't really like the base game, I'm guessing that the expansion is not going to change the game so much. Basically, I prefer to have an expansion if I already love the game, okay, if it's going to add something, but the base game itself is already good. So Glen More II is going to find a better home with someone else. The second game that is leaving my collection is kind of a small game, that is Mr. Jack Pocket, that is going to say goodbye also to the collection. And first of all, I'm not so sure that a game at this scale is actually, I don't know, let's say kind of deserves to take a place of a game in this very strict 100 games that I have. But it was originally bought that I will be able to play something when I'm doing trekking and when the size of the game and its weight are something that are very important to me. So not that the big brother of Mr. Jack Pocket, the Mr. Jack itself, the board game, has a lot of depth, but it was something that was pretty cool to play when you're going to a place that you cannot afford yourself to take too much weight or space in your backpack. But since then, I've bought another game that is called Ultra Tiny Epic Galaxies, that is of course the smaller version of the already small Tiny Epic Galaxies, which is something that, guys, I mean, I've done another video for the 5 best games to travel with, but this one is really extraordinary. I think that the levels of depth that you have in this small game is something that is, I just love it. Literally the size of a deck of cards, of like poker cards that you can take with you, weighs almost nothing. And I find that if I need to choose which game I should take with me between this one and Mr. Jack Pocket, I think that the answer for me was kind of clear, and this is why this is going to stay in my collection and Mr. Jack Pocket does not. The third game that is leaving my collection and already went out because I sold it is Witcher Old World. So I got the big box with the extra poker dice or whatever, metal pieces, everything for, I think it was around 240 euros, and that is pretty much the amount that I sold it. This is one of the worst, in my opinion, designs of a big box. So not comfortable, going like just like as a tower. And if you want to have actually everything in one box, this is something that is like separated in the middle. I found it extremely not comfortable. This is just like logistically, every time to take this game out and set it on the table, it was just like a task that I really didn't want to do. Just the setup was crazy, and gameplay itself, Witcher is just not it. I was happy to see that it's not like one of these campaign games, of course, but the game felt so repetitive at some point. So that was like the base game. So you have to add the other things. So you add in the beginning only the stretch goals and then like one expansion, another expansion, but then you find yourself with so many things on the table and still doing the same actions again and again and again, and it just felt like there's a lot of setup to do, and you already know that I don't mind doing long setups if the experience that you have afterwards with the game is worth it. In my opinion, Witcher Old World is not worth the experience that you're having with this. On top of that, I'm really not connected to the theme whatsoever. So this is just another reason for me not to keep this game that is already taking literally a lot of space in the collection. And I'm happy that I got it because it made me not backing, and I know it's a different game, but it just made me not backing another Witcher game, because I'm guessing that a lot of these games are, if you like the IP, then great, this might be for you. If you don't like the IP, then you already don't have this emotional connection to the game itself, then it might not be something for you. And I found myself really not enjoying Witcher. I was kind of happy to get rid of it from my collection. With that, we're going to move to the 3 new games that are coming into this collection. So this is the first beast that is entering the collection. It is, guys, this is pretty massive. Edge of Darkness, that I have to admit I got it because I really couldn't get a copy of Dead Reckoning. I'm really upset with myself for not going for the reprint and the expansion pledge, right, with the Kickstarter. So hopefully I will find a copy of Dead Reckoning at some point, but until then I decided to give a chance to Edge of Darkness, that if you remember from one of the previous videos, I traded it for Tainted Grail, the King's Pledge, and I'm really looking forward to crack this one open, since I'm super interested in this mechanism of not only card drafting, that is actually card crafting, which is basically you're taking like the basic card, let's say it like that, and then you can just add more and more things to it to make it more powerful. So that is something that is interesting. I'm super looking forward to see how this designer, that I think I never had a game from him in on my table. I don't know, I have some people telling me that Dead Reckoning is like completely different, there's nothing even to compare, but if I'm not mistaken, Dead Reckoning has a card crafting also, so I thought to myself, maybe it will be better to take an earlier design and see how it goes. Hopefully I will have a good experience. The second game that is entering my collection, that is Nusfjord by Uwe Rosenberg, and that is actually the first game by Uwe Rosenberg that is entering my collection. So never played Caverna before, and this is of course one of my attempts of getting a good farming game in this theme, which is something I don't know what I have with that. Honestly, I just want like a good farming game. But recently I started to have already a few of those. So I think it might be interesting to do like top farming games that I've got to play so far. I did already start playing Nusfjord, that felt a little bit maybe too light to my taste. I don't know, like everyone were so like alerting, oh, Uwe Rosenberg, you know, his games are too heavy, or it's too, I don't know what, like complicated. And I'm like, Nusfjord is kind of a light game, so I don't already know if by the next time that I'm doing one of these videos, Nusfjord is going to stay in my collection. Having said that, the third game that is entering my collection is Hallertau. So, yep, another Uwe Rosenberg game that is entering my collection, and actually I already got to play this one as well. And Hallertau, I can tell you, is something that I liked much better. So this is a game also, of course, in the farming theme that felt already a lot more crunchy. You have there more things that you can actually do. You need to think about many more things, and yet learning it and understanding it and playing it is, I have to tell you, it's quite simple. So people saying that Hallertau is considered to be like a heavy, like a super heavy game or complicated, I don't know, it felt kind of right to me. You do have a lot of decisions to take over there, that's true, but I have to tell you that just from reading the rules and playing it once or twice, felt kind of great. Almost didn't need to open the rulebook later on, but maybe I'm just jumping ahead, and that is something that I need to leave for a review. So those are the 3 games that are entering my collection on my way of building the perfect collection of 100 games, no more and no less. Some updates for the upcoming month, what are we going to have? So, first of all, I'm going to have a video for this game that is called Flying Gang. That is something that is supposed to come to a Kickstarter at some point, I think later on this year in a month or two. Which is a game that looks pretty interesting. I didn't dive into yet, even though it's already on my table, and you're playing one of like 4 factions, either England, France, Netherlands, or Spain, if I'm not mistaken. And the whole game takes place in the Caribbean, so you're like the captain of a ship, and you're going to upgrade your ship, upgrade the armor, the artillery that this ship has, like cannon and stuff like that. You're going to encounter other ships that actually have the same names like as real ships that existed at those times. You're going to have some adventures, you're going to look for some treasures, you will fight pirates. Really should be interesting. So this is something that I will do a how to play video in this coming month. And if we're already looking at ships, then another game that is going to appear in this channel this month is EOS, Island of Angels, that was created by King Raccoon. That is the same company that published Tsukuyumi, Full Moon Down. So I got to play with it actually with the team itself in my last visit in Germany. That kind of looked cool, a few cool mechanisms, a little bit like sandboxy, but I should definitely play it again and then of course prepare a video for you guys so you'll know if you might enjoy it or not. Besides that, I know that I'm a little bit behind with some other videos like Rune Wars or other games that I know that I promised to do videos. It's just going to take a little bit more time, especially because Heroes of Might and Magic 3, the board game, is supposed to reach to my table, I think in a week or two. Already got the shipping label. So hopefully this game is going to hit my table as soon as possible, because I cannot tell you how excited I am to receive that game. This is like a part of childhood, you know. This is definitely something that I would like to bring to the table and play. I've heard some things about the rulebook that it might not be the best, but other people said that the rulebook is just fine. So I guess I'll have to check it by myself. But this is definitely something that is going to be on my channel this month. I cannot let it go. This is something that I really have to do. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I super appreciate it. Take care, and I'll see you next time.